I couldn't resist starting with that. I really couldn't. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Sunday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID in association with our friends at Eltel Cockerell. A stellar panel for you tonight on a show where if you're not happy tonight, you really need to be going to more funerals. That's all I can say. Fantastic win today. I'm sure there's lots of positivity in the studio. So let's introduce you to our guests first of all. Coach Dave. Good evening, Dave.
How you doing, guys? How you doing? It's good to be back on.
Yeah.
Nice 3 points. Lads, it's United. I think that's what we should do.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you back, and your knowledge is always appreciated. Second guest tonight, zookeeper Tom Clark, my I'll say my friend, but he's also my friend's son. Always has something useful and interesting to say. I know he's got a view on the red card, which we'll talk about later. Good evening, Tom.
Hello, yeah, good evening. 3 points, 3-0. Great result. I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And from Eltel Cockerell, our good friend, buenas noches, Jose.
Buenas noches, todos. I must be the only negative one on the panel tonight. How dare we go to a full, packed Old Trafford Stadium and win 3-0?
Yeah.
How dare Brennan Johnson score against the top 6 side? How dare Brennan Johnson get 4 in 4 games? How dare Solanke score 3 in 3 games? How dare Van der Ven be the cheat code for football? How dare we keep a clean sheet and out? That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. An utter bloody disgrace. Shameful. Yeah. Utterly shameful. Let's get on to our co-owners. All the way at great expense from Southeast Asia, from Malaysia to be precise, our friend Mr. Chang.
Wow, what a fantastic last 4 hours has been for me. The stream, or rather the match, kicked off at half to midnight here in Southeast Asia. And when I was doing the watch along with Mr. Colin Sievers on 2 sides of a podcast with him, I just informed him the significance of this tie and this date for me, because exactly 12 years ago to this very day, in the year 2012, that was my wedding day, or rather that was my wedding night 12 years ago. And it was also when Spurs played United at the very same venue at the exact same kickoff time. I'm not going to bore you with the details. All you need to know is the wedding ended at 10:30. I left the venue about 11. I rushed straight back. Everyone else felt that I had something to get done at home with my bride, but I had to watch Spurs. I mean, Spurs were playing that night. It's my wedding night. I just got home from the wedding venue, and what a night that was 12 years ago. We won that match 3-2. It was Vertonghen who got the own goal off Johnny Evans. Then it was Gareth Bale, and finally it was Clint Dempsey who wrapped up the 3-2 victory for us. And 12 years later, here we are again. Another victory, 3 goals, 3 points at Old Trafford. Although I know it's against 10 men, and that's what some of the haters will bring up against us. But honestly, I mean, this was such a day for me to remember. And I am really looking forward to the next hour and so with all you fine gentlemen here on this podcast.
Yeah, I know a couple of you have only got an hour, so I'm going to move it on.
Sorry, can I just say to Chang, happy anniversary.
Thank you very much, FA. Thank you, FA.
Yeah, good evening to Adrian, our founder and co-host tonight. Good evening, Adrian.
Good evening to everyone in the chat. Good evening to our guests. We're grateful to have you with us. I'm depressed naturally. You know what I mean? I'm Ange out and Werner in, and where's my antidepressants? You know what I mean? And Why can't we?
Absolutely.
Why can't we
not,
go to tough venues and win a game? You know what I mean?
Yeah. For those of you in
I'm
the
buzzing.
chat,
I'm absolutely
particularly any of you
buzzing,
younger
guys.
ones, this is not the Spurs way. This is not how we do it.
It was a very Spursy performance.
Graham, I'm just going to go through what's in the chat so far. So good evening, Graham. Yeah, absolutely. Smash a like, please.
Evening, Graham.
Keep the channel growing. Destiny 5, so proud of my team. Absolutely. Nita, good evening. Always a pleasure to see you on, and AJ as well. We're going to be talking about Johnson and Kulu. What a performance by Kulu. Talk about man of the match. I don't normally, but we will tonight because there's a lot of contenders. And Dom, the tapping king. Johnny Bethnal Green, good evening to you, Johnny. Graham, I've said hello, and that's us. So, yes, right. So let's get back to the banners. Let's get back to the team that we started with. So, a lot of controversy about putting in Werner, Dave. What was your take on that?
Yeah, listen, I'm not his biggest fan, and I think he's a bit predictable. He kind of runs in straight lines. His product, leaves a lot to be desired. But with Son out, it's a big ask to ask, young Micky Moore, or even to make a little alteration. Could he have gone with Maddison out wide and maybe put an extra midfielder in there? That might be an option. But I think he didn't want to make too many changes in terms of formation wise, or even kind of set up going away to Old Trafford. And to be honest, this United team aren't that good. And the way they play, they leave gaps, and you can hit them, with pace. So I get what Andrew's doing. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan, but it paid off for us in the end, in the sense that we did, even though he didn't have the best game.
Sure.
Obviously we got away with a win. So, and Johnson on the other side, he keeps scoring.
Yeah,
keeps scoring, and keeps silencing the haters. So it's a good space to be in.
Tom, he's got Decky and Maddison cooking together in the middle, and it must have been on his mind simply not to change that too. And with Son and Odegaard both out, from who might have played on the left, unless you're going to throw in a 17-year-old, Werner was really the only option, wasn't he?
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of talk about whether or not you move Kulusevski out on the right, Johnson on the left, and then put like Sarr in the middle. But Kulu and Maddison have been brilliant as a midfield three with Bentancur, who deserves a special mention today.
Absolutely.
I actually would say that Bentancur could arguably be man of the match today. Went unnoticed, but he was brilliant. But you don't disrupt that, and I was so pleased when I saw that team, because it showed what our intent was from the off, like having Kulu and Maddison. And actually, like Kulu, we all see him as this attacking player, but he is brilliant defensively as well. He runs so much. He's always getting back. He's actually seems like he's strengthened up a little bit. He's a bit of a unit. He's pushing people off the ball. He's winning tackles and challenges. And yeah, on Werner, he does so much right until it comes to kicking a ball. I just don't know what it is. He gets in great positions. He just can't. I don't know why. He just can't seem to kick a ball for love nor money. Like, when it's like, if you're in doubt, just put your foot through it. Like, he's trying to be really like finessey with stuff, when really just put your laces through it, mate. And it's so bizarre to do it. But I think it was the right decision, because we all want to see the youth. But sticking Micky Moore in at United away, it's not setting him up for success. And we've got to think with Micky Moore long term, not just short term game. Like, it's got to be the long game with him. And actually, that 15-minute cameo he came on, he looked brilliant. And that's done more for him than if he had played 75 minutes and had a similar game to what Werner had. So, which is always the risk. So, I think, he's playing the long game with Micky Moore. He's clearly going to be a massive part of this team in the future, and he is going to play games this year. He is going to play games. So that's just, I think that was the right choice. But I think we can all agree that Werner should be upgraded on.
Yeah, no, Jose, you'd agree with that, wouldn't you? Needs to be upgraded on.
He put in a performance today for me, mate. Werner did it, put in a shift. Okay, he had 2 chances, goalkeeper saved, you know. But at the end of the day, off the ball, I thought he was quite good today. He put a shift in. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. What I said I was on the Irish Hotspur pump up this morning, and when they asked me for my team prediction, I turned around and I said, well, for me, you need continuity. You know, once you've got a formula, you need to continue with that. And the formula is we were set in the midfield 3 and in the forward 3. And if Sonny's the man that's going to miss out, then don't change your midfield 3. All you need to do is keep, at the time I said this morning, Brennan's 3-on-3, Solanke's 2-on-2 at the moment. Replace some with someone out wide. Of course, yes, I wanted Micky Moore to be given a chance, but I did say Werner will get that place. Pretty much with what Coach Dave said. You know, they're not going to put it on him at the moment onto Micky Moore. So the selection didn't surprise me. What I did also say on the show this morning is that everyone says that Ange plays youth and plays youngsters and stuff like that, and I compared Micky Moore to Ethan Namweri at Arsenal, who are both boys are in the England under-17s team. One wears the 10, one wears the 11. And if you look at England under-17 and all the people in the know, they said that Moore is levels above Namweri. But Namweri's getting the opportunities at Arsenal and getting more minutes than what we're actually giving Moore. So, you know, who's right and who's wrong here? And I think that sooner or later, we've got to start letting this kid go. I was certainly happy that he got 15 minutes today. It's a lot better than giving him 3 minutes at the end of the game. You got to give him the 15 minutes, and plus we had 5 minutes of added time. So he had a 20-minute run out. And right at the end of the game, he's cut in because he does that, but he's doing it against first teamers today. He cut in from the left, and he took a shot with the right foot that went wide. Imagine had that gone in. What would we be saying now? Werner, do not ever appear for Tottenham again. Anyway.
Chang, before we get on to Werner, because I'm going to talk about Werner later on, Tom mentioned about Decky, and it's certainly a view that I agree with totally. Decky in the middle alongside Maddison is an absolute revelation compared to him on the right, where he looks a touch one-dimensional.
I mean, what more can I say? If there ever was a master stroke of genius shown by Big Ange, I think that Kulusevski now in midfield is almost like a player reborn. It's almost like he's somehow reinvented himself. And we are now reaping the fruits of that reinvention of Kulusevski in midfield. I mean, yes, we knew what he was capable of since last season. I mean, if you remember in that game that we played at home against City, the game that no Spurs fans wanted us to win, or rather the majority anyway didn't want us to win. And that was the first time we saw Kulusevski really boss it in midfield. And again, this season, more of the same. And I mean, Kulusevski is one of those players right now that is undroppable, much like Brennan Johnson, much like Vicario. I mean, Kulusevski for me now is one of those players who's the first names on the team sheet come match day, and I think this can only benefit us in the long term, especially when we try to sort out that midfield whom yes, we have trimmed tremendously in terms of getting rid of Højbjerg and Oliver Skip, and now that we have settled on this midfield tree of Bentancur, Maddison, and Kulusevski, long may it flourish. And it's good also to know that Kulusevski has more than just passing and dribbling in his locker. I mean, look at that second goal. Look at that goal of his, second goal of the match, running onto that Johnson cross, and then just with aplomb almost lifting it over Onana for a second on the match. That actually takes calm and composure. And of course, right man, the right place at the right time. Well done to him. And I just hope he just builds on this. And yeah, just like James Maddison, I also hope that we see a lot more of this Kulusevski in games to come, because I think the games are going to come fast. And yeah, what more can I say? Kulusevski. If it wasn't already evidently clear that Van der Ven was going to be, getting man of the match for this game. I mean, there are so many players in that squad that could have very well qualified for man of the match nominations, and for me, Kulusevski in this match, he was up there with Van der Ven for man of the match.
Your take on the team, Adrian?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was another one that, although Man United had a player sent off, we started with 10 men because we had Werner in the team. So, I mean, like, they can't complain, really, can they? You know what I mean? But my take on it really is like
shame on you.
No, listen, on the Werner thing, actually, he has an impact because what he did do today, he stretched them. When he did get the ball, he missed 2 chances. I mean, you think, get 1 out of the 2, and you're sort of half forgiven. Like, he's not a finisher. Let's be fair, he's not. But he did have an impact because he stretched them. On the Kulu thing that you're saying, he's just such a fantastic all-round player. And he's been marmite with Spurs fans. He's the perfect hybrid 8-10 role player. I mean, and you've seen now that although Maddison took a few more kicks and got a few free kicks that I didn't think he'd get, because Maddison's playing, Coach David, Maddison's playing a little bit deeper, whereas Kulu could be more of the battering ram because he's got the physicality, which Maddison doesn't possess. But Kulu will be in the middle. To times he's given an awkward ball to control and he controls it. And he's got the vision to lay it off, And then Kulu will also give the option. When he sees the option to go wide right, he'll go wide right like a winger and burst down the side as well. I don't know if this is serendipity, a happy accident, playing those 2 together. But they look but Andrew's got to find other blends of a midfield 3 because you're not going to play the same 3 all season.
No.
He's got to find different blends and the same. So the midfield's looking a lot stronger to me all across the board. The front 3, last year I would have said the midfield 3 was pants and the front 3 were pants. The back 5 are okay. I think we're looking a lot better in midfield now. We can dog it out in games now and dig in, right? A lot better when we got overrun with being overcrowded last season. Front 3, we're sort of at a front 2 now out of a front 3. That's the way I'm seeing it. But Kulu, fantastic. And the issue today is no one really played badly, not even Werner, to be honest. But he's going to take stick for them 2 misses, right? Because that's what the fan base is like. And I will criticise him for him because he should do better. He shouldn't just hit and hope, right?
Yeah.
But you could have picked quite a few man of the matches today. I mean, because
I'll come on to it, Adrian. I'm going to interrupt you because my phone has bleeped with a club statement, homophobic chanting. The club is aware of, I don't know who this was aimed at. I certainly never heard it. I heard a lot of chanting. Our fans were really loud. But anyway, the club is aware of abhorrent homophobic chanting from sections of our away support at Old Trafford today. This is simply unacceptable, hugely offensive, and no way to show support for the team. The club will be working closely with the police and stewards to identify anyone instigating or joining in with the chanting. We shall take the strongest possible action in accordance, with our sanctions and banning policy. And then there's a line to call it. So I didn't hear that. I don't know what it was aimed at, but totally unacceptable, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, the fans were definitely loud. I mean, they sang a whole host of songs and whatnot. I mean, I didn't hear anything that sounded beyond the line, as it were. But obviously, if this has been reported, the club's got to do what the club's got to do. Definitely, I mean, and it's part of every effort across the board, whether it be homophobia, racism, whatever. These things can't be tolerated at any ground, home or away. So, kudos to the club if they're moving this quickly to obviously put out the statement and obviously deal with it.
Yeah. Let me bring you in again then. 3 minutes into the game, I have to confess, I fell asleep and I missed the first 20 minutes. But that run from Van der Ven was brilliant, beyond brilliant.
Yeah, he's listen. So we saw it. Was it the Everton game? where he made a run similar to that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I watched Man United midweek when they played 20 or whoever it is in the Europa, and they got the equaliser there in that game that went against them. Was similar, where a defender picked the ball up and literally just ran in a straight line, and no one could get the ball off him. So I think Micky might have been watching that as well. Watched the film and said, if I get the opportunity, I'm going to do the same. But he's such a strong runner with the ball. We know what he's like off the ball. We know he's devastating with his pace. Obviously, we've had to rely on that many times, and I'm sure all of us say a quick prayer for his hamstrings. Every time that ball goes over the top, and he's chasing down, whether whoever it is that he's chasing down. But seeing him break the lines, and also I think what is really underrated is his ability and the composure in the final third to be able to slow down and then pick out a weighted pass, inch perfect. We saw it obviously with the assist for Son early in the season, and we saw it today. Brilliant from him, and another great game for him. Really want him to really get into a good rhythm, stay injury free deep into the season, because we're going to need that, especially with the way we play on and off the ball.
Is there a player in world? Hang on, Adrian. Sorry, is there a player in world football that any of you can think of that could make that run and create that goal with that pace? Because I'm trying to think of anybody.
As a defender,
absolutely, only as a defender.
No, I don't think there is. I don't think there's anyone really. Like the speed that he possesses is just frightening. Like when I think of Van de Ven, I think of him as much of a cheat code as what Haaland comes across as sometimes. Like they both seem like they've been built in a lab. Like they really do. Like they just seem like the perfect film. And the thing with Van de Ven, like sorry to butt in on you, Dave, but the thing with Van de Ven as well is that you're right. The composure to pick out the correct passes sounding, but a lot of people will look at him and go, "Oh, he just relies on his speed," but he doesn't. He reads the game so well. He knows when to make those runs to it's not just like he's like, "Oh God, it's gone over my head. Let's chase it down." Like he's playing the way he's being told to play, but he's also got that speed of thought that gets him those extra yards as well as his like sheer pace as well. But I can't think of a defender who can do what he does at all. Like no one springs to mind.
Exactly that, Tom. I wanted to come on and Dave, and I don't want to interrupt Ian's train of thought. But before he made the run, like you say, reading the game to make the interception to get the ball, and then he runs all the way down to the penalty area, and then you think, oh, he's going fast, and then he accelerates. He accelerates then to get down to the byline and put that ball across. That was exceptional.
I always say to wingers if I'm ever coaching a game, whatever. First touch, second touch spot. You've got to get in the box at pace because teams don't want to foul you. When you're in on the penalty box, that's the danger area, isn't it? And even as a centre back, I mean, obviously he knows from playing the game the other way. Mate, he just got in there and he had one thing on his mind, and he got the great assist and obviously an easy finish for Brennan Johnson, who right place, right time. We know that's part of Ange's kind of pattern of play. Back post finishes. So to see us, early in the game establish that dominance.
Jose, I know you're on your phone there. Probably a lot of chat in your WhatsApp group. But have you ever seen a defender with that pace?
I've never seen anybody in football, let alone a defender, with that pace.
Bale.
I mean, he's quicker than Bale, Van de Ven. He's quicker than Bale. He's quicker than Walker. Walker's still playing that. He's still quicker than Walker. He's been clocked quicker than Walker. I've never seen. This is just. This is the ultimate cheat code. Forget Haaland. This is the ultimate cheat code, and it's unfair. I mean, it's unfair for any team to have a player like Van de Ven. And guess what? We've got him. And as Tom said earlier, It's as if these chaps were built in a lab.
Oh, I mean, one thing,
I love that. I love that expression, Tom. I love it.
you see the game differently, and I appreciate, Chang, you can't get to games for logistical reasons, but sometimes when you're watching the game and you're at the game, you see defenders start to chase the ball. Van der Ven just puts on the afterburners, and the defender just gives up. The attacker just gives up because he knows he's not going to get near it. But Chang, let's move it on, because I know some of you don't have all day. We're 25 minutes in. 4 goals, 4 games, 4 wins. Brennan Johnson, the object to the Boo Boys a month ago, 3 weeks ago, and another great goal. And people talk about tap-ins, but if you're not in the position to score the tap-in, you don't score the tap-in.
I mean, honestly, that's a Johnson goal. If you were to take into account, or rather, if you would take into consideration the second chance that they had that wrapped the upright when we were 1-0 up, I mean, that could have easily just brushed against the inside of the post and just cannoned into the back of the net. That could very well have been game over even before the red card for Bruno. And yeah, I mean, Johnson, what more can we say about him? He has not only has he shut the haters up, but he's actually gone from strength to strength, from game to game. I mean, 4 goals in 4. Who could have ever seen that coming when we were mere minutes away from being eliminated from the League Cup last Thursday? Was it? Yeah, last Thursday against Coventry City. Not only has he got us the winner against Coventry City, he has now just got us so many crucial goals in our last 4 games that he, just much like Kulusevski, you could almost make an argument that Johnson is now undroppable. And to think that many of us, I mean, I hold my hand up here and admit that yes, I was one of those fans who felt that Johnson was more suited as a super sub rather than a starting 11. But little did I know that Johnson was exactly what we needed down that right wing if Kulusevski was going to be playing from centre midfield. And what more can I say? 4 and 4 for him. Again, much like Kulusevski, please do keep it up. We are now finally seeing some levels of consistency down those wings, especially on that right now. That has been severely lacking for I have no idea how many seasons it's been now since we had someone as reliable as, say, a Bale on the left or Aaron Lennon on the right. But keep doing what he's doing. I only wish that after this, if he does go on to another barren spell, or if he ever does have a lull in his performances, the fans who were so vocal in their criticism of him, please don't suddenly come out of the woodwork again to get on his back after what we've seen from these last 4 games. That, I think, is the one thing. If there's one thing and one thing only that I would change from our negative Spurs mindset, is that when the going gets good, be with the players, but when the going gets tough, that's where you should be supporting your own players, not by getting on their backs.
Adrian, what's your call? And guys, I'm going to give you notice. I'm going to have a chat about this. Good evening, Peter, by the way, early morning in Australia. I'm going to come back to that because I think that is certainly an interesting topic. A little bit of tongue in cheek here, and big up Adrian, 777 subscribers.
Big up all the admins. We're all the group here. It's not about.
I don't want any credit.
Never do I. I'm not a sort of guy, right? So no, we just want to provide a community for you guys, and we hope that you like the content we provide. That's it. On the Brennan Johnson thing. Yeah. I wasn't keen. When I look at videos of players, I thought, what's so special about this guy for 47 mil, right? And then I've been critical of him. But last season he had 15 GA, he had 5 goals, 10 assists. I was very impressed with the 2 strikes he's got recently. Right, very impressed. They are quality finishes, right? So that sort of got my eyes going. I don't know what Coach Dave thinks about this. And now he's already got 4 goals this season, and he only got 5 last season. And to be fair to the player, because I like to balance, what I have to say. He was given his debut away to Arsenal. You're throwing a kid in away to Arsenal, right? And it's a game we should have won, actually, that game, 2-2. And, he missed a couple of what we come up halfish to good chances in that game. And everybody's thinking, we don't beat his man. But win play's not always about beating your man. It's about what the game's about nowadays. It's about overloads all over the pitch. It's about overloads playing out the back. It's about overloads in central midfield. It's about overloads down the wing and through the centre. 1v1s. If you've got 2v1, you don't have to beat the player. Someone can play you in as you're running past that player. You get across him. But he's improved to me. He looked better and sharper. And to all those that give him vitriolic abuse on social media, you're just scum to me.
Yeah. I'll come in here because I will keep moving the show forward. I was a huge fan of Brennan Johnson, which is why I got annoyed when some of the criticism he got. I was a big fan of his at Nottingham Forest. I really like the way he plays off the striker, his positional sense, etc. But he wasn't delivering last year as much as we'd have liked. But he's young. It's a big move to move from a small provincial club to something as big as Tottenham. And he did look a bit overwhelmed at times. But I've said this on streams a number of times. When I was a kid, I was 7 years old, we signed Martin Chivers. And I remember saying to, uncle, whatever it was, a grown-up, it's brilliant, we've signed Martin Chivers, and getting told, yeah, but it'll take a year to settle in, son. Now, if a player doesn't seem to be doing the business in 3 games, he's written off as a wanker, pardon my language. But, Brennan Johnson, in my view, Dave, I'm going to bring you in on this particular point as a professional coach. He's a good player. He's an intelligent boy. And the goals now are rewards for his work rate.
Yeah, it is a reward. I think there's that kind of split, isn't it? You watch some of the comps, or you watch him at Nottingham Forest. He's a player that works in space. He needs the space and almost the chaos factor, where the game's broken, and then he can use his pace to get in behind and to create those 1v1s on the keeper or whatever. And the thing is, with Tottenham being such a possession-dominant team, you're not going to really get those opportunities as much unless you're playing Man United, because they're wide open at the moment. But so I think the frustration over the past 6-7 months, I think it's just because we're coming up against teams who sit back, there's a bit of a low block. And I think it's just we didn't see much variation. You want to call it football IQ, variation, whatever. When you needed to go 1v1, we need to beat your player, you didn't. The crossing was a bit haphazard, and then some of the finishes, it wasn't there. It just wasn't putting it all together. And I think he was feeling the pressure of the big move. Big money move, sorry. Not just coming to Tottenham, but for the fee. I think if he was signed for 25 million, I don't think half of us would bat an eyelid in terms of the way he was playing and the amount of pressure. But because of that money and the fact that at this stage in our rebuild, or whatever you want to call it, we want that 50 mil to go a particular direction. We want that money to be spent on a bona fide, you walk into the starting 11 or whatever into the squad, and you're giving us, a certain level of output. And he plays in a position where, you're judged by output. So even though the stats were relatively decent in that respect, the eye test wasn't great. But look, he's put his head down over the past 3-4 weeks, and he's gone, and then he's got the goals. And just any goals. These are crucial goals. It's a goal away at Old Trafford. It's a goal to keep us in the League Cup. A goal when we went down to 10 men. 5 minutes later, bang, 1-0. And it's a similar type of position he's getting into, that kind of, just inside the box, shift it, bang on the right, the chance that hit the post. I thought that was going in when as soon as it hit. I think that was probably the best shot he's hit out of all the 4 goals he's scored. It's probably the cleanest hit. Like technically, like, it looked really sound. But listen, let's see what happens. You know, if he ends up having a great season where he gets 12 goals or whatever, it's only going to benefit us as a club. You know, so if this is a bit of a renaissance, then let's see what happens. And to have that on one side doing well, we can only hope now with Son or others on the other side, on the other flank, that they start to thrive as well. Because obviously Solanke is now getting some goals. Which is good. You know, he's definitely settling nicely.
Okay. Going to go on to that comment about the team better without Sonny, Tom. I'm going to bring you in. But I just want to plug something. For those of you of a certain generation will well know Julie Welsh as a pioneering female journalist in an era when females weren't expected to go to stadia, let alone actually write about the game. She wrote a classic play come book called Those Glory Days, which is an absolute must watch. And it's the International Break Sunday, and I'm going to be interviewing her on a journalistic career and our love of Tottenham Hotspur on the 13th of October. Something completely different. So, guys, put that in your diary. Julie's certainly warrants a big audience, even if I don't. So put that one in your diary on the international. It'll be after the England game that afternoon at 8 o'clock. And I hope as many of you as possible will watch that and put questions in as well. Let's go back to the question from Mick Vickers. Hello, panel. Unpopular opinion may be that we're a better team without Sonny. Tom?
No, not for me.
Are you on mute, Tom?
I am, sorry. As a simple answer, no. We are a team. Like this Ange's, it's a system, right? It's a system. So you want the best players for that system. And yet Sonny's going through a bit of a dry patch for him, if you can call that for him and stuff. But you want your best players on the pitch, and he is a good player. He's still a finisher. Like, okay, he might have lost that yard of pace. He might not be able to take on a man like he once used to, but he is a finisher. If the ball falls to him in the right place, he's going to be able to tuck it away, which is exactly what Johnson is. Johnson is a finisher. He's not a dribbly player. He's not going to pick up the ball and dribble past the man, but he will run into space, as Dave was saying, run into space, and he is much better hitting the ball while it's moving as well. Like, a lot of the time, if he's running into the ball, running onto the ball, he can swing that cross in. We need Son. Like saying, are we a better team without him? You know, there was times where I was thinking, oh, maybe the only reason why we might be a better team without Son is that our team looks to Son. You know, he is a player. He's a moments player. He can produce something out of nothing. So it's almost like, okay, where's Sonny? Let's get the ball to Sonny. Whereas in today's game, it was more like, right, we need to spread this around the team. But if we can keep that momentum going and then slot Son into that, I can only see that benefiting us. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think we've seen enough from one game to say that we're a better team without Sonny, and especially everything that he has done. And if a man is running through 1-on-1 with the ball at his feet, bearing down on goal, the one player in our squad that I want on that ball is Sonny.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of nods from your fellow panelists, Tom. I think we all agree with that. Jose, what's your take on that? Unpopular opinion, maybe we're a better team without Sonny.
I don't know about being a better team, but got to face facts though. And for me, the facts are that Sonny ain't going on forever. Kane weren't going to go on forever. And today, whether it be because he was injured or whether it be because he took a knock and they didn't want to risk it, because I've seen our medical team start doing that for once, instead of putting our players out and flogging them when they are injured and then playing them with injections, which has happened in the past. It looks like if they take a knock, their precaution is straight away guard them, wrap them up in cotton wool, make sure they don't get any worse, see how they are for the following week. So not having Son today, it was interesting to see. Well, it's interesting to see what would happen. Obviously, they brought in Timo Werner, and as I alluded to earlier, to me, when you found a formation that's a good formation and a winning formation, you want continuity. If one person drops out the side, you want someone to replace that person. You don't want to move the pawns around the pitch again. And today was, a day that he didn't play. It's a day that we brought someone else in. The team played well without him today. But could we use Sonny? Yes, Sonny's a squad player. He's part of that squad, team squad, whatever you want to call it. And today he didn't play. There'll be many more games in the future that he's not going to play as well, because he ain't going to be around forever. But it bodes well that we went without him today and we got a victory. So, yeah, with or without him, it is a team game. It's a squad game. At the end of the day, the thing that I'm happy about, and I ain't the manager and I don't get paid the big bucks. The thing that I'm happy about is that once you've found something, right, that works, unless it's broken, you don't need to fix it. Today it was broken, Sonny's out, fixed it, put someone, whether we agree or don't agree, we put someone in that position, which meant it didn't disrupt the other two positions up top and the three behind in midfield. Can I also say, right, because you guys were talking about it earlier, I just want to go back to Madders and Kulu. Madders and Kulu played together for the first time against Everton. Tom, you were at the game because I met you that day, and Adrian, you were there with me. And then people are going to turn around and say, yeah, but it was only Everton. That's why it worked. Anyway, we then played Brentford, and they played them same two in the middle again against Brentford, and it worked again. And people were saying, well, wait, and this is not me, right? Because they're quality players. Quality players will work, right? And then today, all I heard from people was, yeah, but wait till you play against the top 6 team. Them two will get found out. Kulu and Maddison are very, very good footballers. They've been good footballers for many, many years. They've got the skill sets, they've got the brain, they've got the know-how in each of their bodies. All it is that maybe, where one was played as, no, they both actually played as 10s. One played for a 10 for Juventus, the other's played a 10 everywhere he's been in his career. Now, all of a sudden, they're both playing hybrid 8-10, and because they're good players, they can adapt to that. Do you know what I mean?
Really good point, Jose.
And if we've fallen, do you know what? If we've fallen to where we are now, right? Even against, did they both play together for the Arsenal game as well? I can't remember they played together in Arsenal. They did they? Right. Yeah. Right. Even though we lost that game, you can see the quality that they've both got playing together and have had for the last 4 games. Yeah. And that's what we need now. We've stumbled across this. The only unfortunate thing is that not for them to, but we need to find that position, the 6th position, where Bentancur has been mopping up, picking up everything, releasing the ball straight away to other players to do their bit instead of ball carrying. Once he's sanctioned for what happened in the summer, we now need to hope that if Biss is going to become that 6th, that Biss is ready to take that mantle and run with it, because there's been clouds under Biss with what he did with the balloons, and that he's so laid back and his attitude might be wrong, and that he needs to hit that ground running, because we need continuity. We need that 6. So if Bentancur, once he gets taken out of the team, we need someone to fill in that and help Madders and Kulu along like they're doing at the moment.
Yeah. I think that's a really, really, really good point. So I think they're both really, really good footballers. Maddison seems to have become a better player again for having Decky alongside him in midfield. But
the way Ian, the way he's playing at the moment, Maddison, right? If people are watching him, the way he's playing at the moment, Maddison gets back into the England squad as an 8 and not as a 10. The way he's playing at the moment.
Yeah. I'll go with that. Chang, we'll move on from the Sonny thing in a second. I'll bring you and Adrian in very quickly on that. We're not a better side. We've got to have Sonny there, haven't we?
I mean, I just have one thing to say about Sonny and why I think he would have been a much better fit for this game ahead of Timo Werner. I mean, just honestly ask yourself, how many more goals could we have scored had Sonny been playing today? I would definitely much rather be having Sonny in those kind of positions that Timo Werner found himself earlier this afternoon, than having Timo Werner then be in those positions and then missing those chances. You could say that I would put some Son for at least down for one goal. At the very least, he's getting one of those chances that Timo Werner wasted. And on top of that, I'm very sure that Son would have, at the very least as well, created another one or two more for either Johnson or Solanke. I mean, Son has been in the Premier League for what, coming to 10 seasons now, come next year, 2025, and his goals and the assist returns is just phenomenal. I mean, I read somewhere just only the other day after the Everton game that only him and Mo Salah are the only two players currently in the Premier League that have been able to get consistent 10 plus GA every season since they've joined the Premier League. So for me, it's a no-brainer that the sheer quality and also the finishing that Son brings into our team, or any team for that matter, he's actually still very relevant. Although, yes, he isn't getting any younger. His legs might be going. We don't see the same Son as we did, say, 4 or 5 seasons ago at the height of the Pochettino era. But come on, you mean to tell me that Son still can't score, that he can't get assists every now and then? I mean, just look at the last league game. In the last league game, Son got 2 assists, and God knows how many more assists you could have got today, playing against 10 men, against a United team that just didn't offer up much in defense when we just went forward. So yes, Timo Werner might still have a say in that, whether he will come good for us or some other team. But right now, I would definitely love to have Sonny back, even the next game for that matter. But we don't know the extent of his hamstring. But for now, we just have to hope and pray that it's not too serious, because for Son to spend the remainder of his Spurs career on the treatment table, that just doesn't sound right to me. That does not sound right to me at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I bring Adrian in, there's a fair number of you in the chat. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please will you do it. We're pretty well a brand new channel. We only started at the end of July with the pre-season games, and we already have 777 subscribers. So hopefully we're doing something right. So we're going to try and get to 1,000. We're not over ambitious, I don't think, but it'd be lovely to get 1,000. So please hit the like and subscribe button. I know some of you have got to go fairly soon, so I will bring you in quickly, Adrian. I'm going to have a chat about our friend Mr. Werner. You've got to have Sonny there, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. He's the best finisher. Left foot and right foot. He's the best finisher. And he hasn't lost. He may have lost the afterburners, but he hasn't lost that pace which you need to lose a defender and slip inside the box and get a shot off. Right? He hasn't lost that. He's still quick. And Sonny's always been, he always gets this criticism each season, because what Sonny has been with us, he's always been like a streaky player. When he gets goals, he gets them in little clusters, and then he doesn't score for a while and people criticise him, and then he scores again. You know, he's not like a consistent player like Harry Kane was, although Kane would never score in the first month of the season, and then he'd be pretty consistent throughout. So no, he's a quality player. When people say we're a better team without him, you're missing the point. It's not better team. It's squad now. It's squad, right? And that's a crucial factor. We look good on the bench now. I know there's kids there, but we look good on the bench now. When we're bringing players on that could possibly change a game, the players there can change a game. Son comes on, he can change a game.
Yeah.
We've seen it with him before. I mean, he makes things happen, right? His short game around the penalty area might have been a bit off this season, but he makes things happen. He was the guy during COVID who broke free and scored at the empty Spurs Stadium against Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Against Chelsea at Wembley when he burst from the halfway line, and done Louise and scored, Against Burnley, that long run from our penalty area. I mean, the guy's quality. And people are writing him off. And it's not an age. Look at Giroud, look at Ronaldo, look at Messi, right? We don't know. He'll know, and the club will know when it's time, right? He'll know. It's not yet. I think he'll get 15 goals this season, and I think
easily
we're going to get the option on his season and another one out of him. I think we've got Sonny for another 2 years.
Couldn't agree with you. You got to go, Chang, or can you stay on a bit longer?
I might have about, say, another 2 minutes or so before I have to head over to LTEL for the 9 p.m. show with Miss Ash. But I think I would just like to make some closing statements here. I mean, today has been a very eventful day, and that win over United at Old Trafford. I mean, 3 goals, 3 points. We now move 5 points just off the league leaders in Liverpool. And I mean, it still is early days. This is only the 6th match week. We have another 32 more match weeks to get by on top of the domestic cups, and also another midweek European adventure on the loom. But yeah, I mean, just enjoy the team performance that we can get so far, and as long as the consistency is there, not only in terms of our results, but from the players' performance. Yes, we are going to have bad days in the office, but you just have to really hope that the team comes good at the end of the season when it really matters, the business end of the season. I honestly feel after watching this evening's game that Big Ange is that coach that's finally going to break our trophy drought. I think it's only a matter of whether Daniel Levy and Enoch are willing to back him, and back him not just in getting us young players for the future, getting players that are ready to step in. The first person that might need to be looked at seriously would be Werner. I'm sure we will come to this again come January, come the winter transfer window, if Werner still isn't working out and we need a replacement for him ASAP that walks into the starting 11, especially if Son is Son's days are limited. But for now, just for today, just for this particular weekend, I'm enjoying the win. And what more can I say? Come on, you Spurs.
Chang, before you go, Chang, we're 3 points off top, right?
Oh, 3. Wow, I thought it's 5.
5.
Yeah, 5. Oh, sorry, 5. I stand corrected, right? So, Chang, before you go, is the quadruple still on?
Whoa, ho, 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 ho. I feel that this is a very, very, very oh my goodness, this question. Okay, yes. I would say that
well done,
although the quadruple is within reach, it's mathematically possible until we are out of the reckoning. So the quadruple is still within reach, but I'm not going to put my life savings
No.
That's about the best I can answer you on this.
Thanks for coming on, Chang.
Thank you so much for even having me. Have a fantastic end to the Sunday, and I'll see each and every single one of you. Coach Dave, Mr. Tom, Senor Garcia, Mrs. Roker, and of course, Mr. Math. It's over and out from Service Station. I'll see you soon, okay? Good night, everyone.
Good
night. Yeah, a couple of things in the chat. Hi, Eugene. I trust you're still there. Absolutely. Welcome to our show tonight. And yeah, love to do another show with you. I saw you did one in the week. I was out. Otherwise, I'd have come on. But yeah, love to do another show with you. Who else have we got? We haven't said evening to. In a hype. I don't think I know you, but welcome along. Sonny would have had a field day today from Phil. Hi, Phil. Yeah, but would he have got on the end of those passes? Would his pace have got him to the end of those passes? And my friend and nemesis, Mr. Daigle from Toronto. Good evening, Brian. Absolutely. I said earlier, I've been a Johnson fan. You know, of all people, that I'm an Ange disciple. So I'm really delighted. Yeah, some bloke called Jose there, I think, in the chat. Yeah, it's only Spurs lads. I'm going to talk about Jed Spence later because I think you're right. I'm going to talk about the second half. I thought Spence was absolutely outstanding, the 45 minutes he played, and I will come back onto that.
You need to go. You need to go up to 850. Nicholas Nichols.
850 Nicholas Nichols. 850.
Yeah. Let me go. The orange end. There you go. For yourself, right? For yourself, your channel.
Yeah.
Thank
well,
you, Nicholas Nichols.
Yeah, and do you know something? It's so what we're trying to achieve. And when someone puts that in a comment, we're trying to have mature, intelligent debate without hyperbole or without overreaction, win, lose or draw. And I think it's a good show for it. So, thank you very much. Haz, good evening to you. I hope you're enjoying the show. Yes, we need I think you're probably right. If we could find a hybrid of Son and Werner, which Odebear may well turn out to be. I think you're absolutely right. Nita, we've spoken to. Is there anybody else there? We'll come on to some other chats, but stuff in the God, there's lots of it.
Ian, I don't think you're far off with that Odebear shout, to be honest with you, because actually the game that he played left wing, he actually looked miles better than when he played at right wing. Much more unpredictability about him. Yeah. So I think you're quite right there.
His stats, Tom, don't suggest that he's yet a great finisher.
He's also 19 years old. So
yes, and I think that's, we could talk about that, whether we should have invested more in experience. I mean, I love the youth. You've got to be young, fit, and have an engine to play Ange ball. It's all about intensity. But yeah, the people criticising Werner, but I think Werner's third choice at the moment, and Micky Moore might make him fourth choice. But I think, as you commented earlier, you can't go sticking a 17-year-old in and ask him to be doing, playing 30, 40 games. It's just not. Sorry, just a comment for Haz there. To expect him to go and dominate 40 games a season at the age of 17, it's just no.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I want to bring on, because I do want to talk about. About the Werner Vo. That's Werner Vo. That's I don't know what language that is, but okay. I'm going to bring you in here, Dave. I can understand why Ange likes him. He gets into the positions that Ange wants his wide players to get into. Behind the fullbacks, he makes fantastic runs. He reads the game. He anticipates. His positional sense, his anticipation, everything about him is superb. And then he gets the ball.
Yeah, it's that eternal conundrum, isn't it? When he gets on the ball, he just doesn't do what you want him to do, which in the final third is what it's all about. That it's so frustrating, because, like you said, he has these 1v1s. Even though there's one opportunity late in the second half where he gets the ball, makes a brilliant run. All he has to do is a simple cutback. I think there's 3 players in the box, and he misses all of them. Couldn't believe it. Some of the end product is comical, and it's a shame, because because of those moments there, people are going to get on his case. They're going to be hypercritical every time they see him in the lineup, and people are going to rightly, have a gripe about seeing him start certain games, regardless of the opposition, because it doesn't, it's not just the big games that this happens in. It's against all levels. But I think, if we're being honest, I think he is, yes, third choice, and hopefully as the season progresses, maybe fourth choice. Like, we talk about Micky Moore maybe coming through. Micky Moore, for all intents and purposes, is on the Phil Foden plan, isn't he? He's on the Phil Foden, Pep Guardiola plan. 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. We'll see a couple cameos, maybe some European games over the course of this season. And maybe you might starting a few games by the end of the season, and then next season maybe we might see a bit more from him in terms of minutes. So I think Werner's there just to kind of hold down that place as an option. He's got the pace. He's still got the pace to burn. but he just doesn't put it all together. It just doesn't put it all together, and it's interesting because our centre back does. You know.
Yeah. I mean, do you
Dave, I've got
agree?
a question for you, if Ian doesn't mind. Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to coaches in the past, right? I've been following this club for over 60 years, right? And one coach said something very telling to me. He said, like, I'd rather a striker who's through on goal, miss the inside post or the far post, than hit the ball straight at the goalkeeper, just to make his stats look good, if that's the case. I mean, the only issue I've got with Werner, he can have a very good impact on the game. He can make crosses that can see. He doesn't score enough goals.
Yeah. I think that, for me, it's the finishing is the worst thing for me is the end product. You know, I always say, whether it be a winger, striker, false nine, whatever, when you're in the final third, it's all about end product. Whichever way you got to do it, get me something. If you're going to win me a corner, you're going to win me, get me a free kick. If you're going to get me this, cause some sort of havoc where now people have to fear you. You know, now the opposition have to accommodate for you being on the ball, because you're going to get a crossing. If your crossing ability is top notch, everyone's going to fear you. If they know that you're 1v1 finishing, when Son cuts in, he can bend into the top corner. So they're going to close down those half spaces. When Werner cuts in, you don't have to rush out. You don't have the same fear. When Werner's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, you back the goalkeeper, and that's a shocking stat to have. And I think for me, that's just where there's just no fear factor with him.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he literally hits it at the goalkeeper every single time. There's no bottom corner, there's no top corner, there's no lift, there's no variation to his shots or anything. It gets a bit tiresome,
he may contribute in certain games during this season as an impact sub and all that, and look good, right? But do you want him in your team in a cup final? No way, man. No way. What I mean?
But I don't think that's not what he's here for, right? So I completely agree. But Werner was brought in on loan as a cheap stopgap for this season. I'm fully convinced he will not, unless he puts up amazing numbers for the rest of this year. There is no way he's going to be in a Spurs shirt next year. Absolutely no way. Like, we've done a good job this year of offloading the deadwood that we needed to get rid of. We've built a young squad so that now we can pick out the diamonds to improve the first 11. Like, if we spend the same amount of money as we did this summer, next summer, it's going to be on one or two players. It's not going to be on the 4, 5, 6, 7 we've had to do the last few transfer windows. And the thing with Werner, like I said, he seems to do everything right apart from kick the ball. He can't seem to just finish or whatever. But I'd be a lot more stressed and angry and annoyed at Werner if he wasn't even getting those chances. The fact that he's getting himself into those positions, the fact that he's able to get on the end of those balls, the fact that he's staying out wide, and it would be far more annoying if a ball was being crossed in from the right and you were going, where the hell was Werner? Like, the fact that you're going, oh, he's missed. It would be much more frustrating if he just wasn't there. He looks completely devoid of confidence, much like Brennan Johnson did 4 or 5 games ago. I can only hope that at some point, I mean, he's not going to be playing loads of games. He's going to be an impact sub, of course. But I can only hope that at some point, like, a ball just spoons up, hits him in the face and goes in the back of the net. And that might be the trigger for him to feel in a bit more confident. The one thing that did surprise me is he's rapid. I'm surprised on that second one, he didn't just try to go round the goalkeeper. Like, around the keeper, use your pace, get yourself. And the thing is, like, he can score. He had a season in the Bundesliga where he scored 36 got 36 goals and assists. At Chelsea, if you actually look at his stats across all of the competition stuff, his goals to game ratio or goals assist ratio wasn't horrendous. It's not anything that's going to set the world on fire, but it wasn't terrible in any way, shape, or form. So he can do it. He just really looks devoid of confidence. But 100%, he should not be a starter, but it is a squad game. We've got lots of games to play. He is going to play parts, and the fact that he's getting in the positions is a good thing. Hopefully the finishing will come.
Yeah, Dave. Well, you've sort of had a go on that. Jose, let's bring you in on Mr. Werner. I mean, there's a lot of comments, a lot of positive comments in the chat. As I say, I think I can understand exactly why Ange wanted him, because of the positions he gets into. He's an intelligent footballer. He reads the game, but that end product, and as the team that scores the most goals wins. The rest is only gossip. And if he keeps missing the chances he gets, at some point we're going to get punished by a team that scores 2 goals and we can only get 1.
Yeah, but with Werner, as I said before, I thought Werner had a good game today. Out of possession, in possession, he didn't do much wrong. Yes, again, 2 chances that he had. He didn't take them. One was a save by the keeper. He didn't take them, but he done a lot of things. Now, at the end of the day, everyone is criticising because the end product for him, for everybody in their eyes, is goals. And yeah, goals are one metric, but assists are another. And if he will have a role to play, we haven't got the deepest of squads, so he will have a role to play like he did today because Son was out. Although the preference would be for other players to come in, and I know what the fan base are like. Let's Micky more, or if Odegaard was fit, put Odegaard there. Everybody should be in front of Werner. They weren't. Today he started with Werner. And at the end of the day, whether we like it or loathe it, Werner is with us. Barring any injuries, to Werner himself, he's with us till the end of the season. I cannot see a world where Werner is at Tottenham after the end of this season.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
But like I said, he's a squad player, and he's going to play minutes when needed. And today he was needed, and he ended up playing. And like I said, for me, he didn't have a terrible game today. He done quite a lot right. He did quite a lot off the ball. He done a lot of tracking back as well. He done a lot of defending. He done a lot of everything. Just didn't score goals. But other people scored the goals today.
If Werner scores twice, he's getting 10 out of 10 and man of the match. But he doesn't. I mean, that's, if your granny had balls, she'd be your grandpa at time, isn't it? Let's couple of things before we go on. People in the chat, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe to the channel. As I said earlier, I've got an echo on someone. I don't know if somebody's got something going on in the background there.
It's you.
No, someone got. No, that's better. Please like and subscribe. We're up to 777 subscribers, and we only started in the end of July, so we're doing something right, I think. So please like and subscribe. And I'm also going to plug 780 now. So we've got 3 new ones. That was 3 since. So that's brilliant. Thank you, guys, and keep them coming. On the 13th of October, I'm going to be interviewing the legendary journalist Julie Welsh. Spurs supporter, authoress, wrote those glory days, the brilliant football rom-com about her love of Tottenham Hotspur at a time when girls didn't like football. The girls in the playground played netball and the boys played football, and that was it. So that's International Day. It'll be after the England game. Really looking forward to that. So please put that one in your diary. Let's talk. I called brilliant press because the first thing I thought how well we pressed the ball, but United awful. It's brilliant press from Tottenham, or a little bit of both, Dave.
Yeah, I think the last time I came on, I mentioned this, about our press, and it's something I've been watching all season, and I've wanted to see if it adjust slightly. Because I felt that early in the season we were pressing with too many, and I felt it was leaving us a bit too exposed in transition. But I feel like going into the past 3 or 4 games, in a little more reserved, and I think that's helped overall with the way we've been able to set up our attack, with the way we've been able to contain teams. Today we were all at them, and I think that's what having Kulusevski a bit further forward, but through the middle, does. And listen, United. As soon as I saw their new guy Ugarte in the lineup, I've seen him in midweek. He was horrible. He was absolutely horrible. He's a defensive stopper, but he's terrible on the ball, and that's where you got to target. And even if they played Ericsson or whatever, their midfield is quite stodgy. The midfield, apart from the likes of a Kobe Mainoo, doesn't really have much to really get around. And it's a big pitch. We saw midweek, even when we went down to 10 men, Solanke can press from the front. He's incredible at pressing from the front. He wins the ball back off the midfield when he can drop deep. So I knew our press was going to be able to give them problems, and evidently did. They're not a great team at retaining the ball and having any sort of control, whether they're home or away. But it was good to see that we had sort of measure to it, and we picked our moments. And again, having dynamic players with a bit of pace and intensity about them. And then it's not just about what you do when you press and win the ball back. It's when you've got the ball. Pep Guardiola talks about first 3-4 seconds. When you're in possession, what do you then do? Is it a forward pass? Is it how do you cycle out of those situations? Well, today. And like that comment just says, we bullied them. Really. And it's good to see. I know I've got to shoot off in a minute, but listen, I'm a little bit younger than maybe some people on the panel today, but I remember when Carroll went halfway into his own net and scooped the ball out, and we didn't get given the goal. So I'm used to United not being a great something. And I'm used to David Beckham. 3-0 up, 5-3. I'm used to certain situations not being in our favour. So I enjoyed today. I enjoyed seeing us put the hurt on them. And I'm going to watch a lot of their fan cams later on to see their tears. It'll be something special.
Right, before you go, I mean, what I thought was good about the press was like against Brentford, when Maddison was one who pressed and made mistakes and we scored goals. Again today, we see Maddison leading the press because he was actually in front of Solanke a couple of times. And I thought that's good because if I've ever questioned Maddison's about anything, it's his like being a bit aggressive, to tackle and be in the press. I mean, he's not the most physically unit, is he? He's not a unit as such, right? And that I liked. But that seemed to like resonate around the rest of the team. When he decided, because he found himself further forward and he pressed, the others seemed to think, right, let's go as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you have your creative players doing that, it sets the impetus because on the bench you've got Sarr, on the bench you've got Bissouma, who naturally are more physically inclined and can dominate that way. So if it went wrong in any way, we know we can lock up the midfield. It gives us options because everyone's buying into this now. And even, I know he came on later on in the game, Lucas Bergvall. He's a player that loves to get involved. Who loves to get involved with a bit of a press and just get amongst it. So listen, I think going and not just today, but over the past few games, I'm seeing that our press looks a lot more organised, and I'm hoping that this is a sign of things to come. That we'll begin to continue to reap the reward.
Dave, can I ask you a question? Because I know you've got to go, and you're a tactician. I'd like to think a bit about the game. When you press, one of the things people don't always get, when you press from the front back, not the back front to front. And to me, Dominic Solanke has made a massive difference to our ability to press because of his speed, his mobility, and his engine. He's able to lead the fact, constantly putting opposition defenders under pressure and release the ball too quickly and lose the ball. and that gives us a chance to break.
Yeah, so you got to work out who your press trigger is, and for me, I think watching Solanke go about his business, he's been brilliant, leading the press. Not only because it's not just about when you're pressing, it's not just about winning the ball, but it's actually forcing them into a mistake. And I think what we're seeing with Solanke, he's making some really good runs. He's curved runs where he's forcing them into a particular area of the pitch. He's forcing the goalkeeper to make a pass, or he's forcing the centre back onto their weaker foot. And we may not see the benefit of that press or that run that he's just made for another 2-3 passes when the centre backs played it off their weaker foot into a midfielder who's in the wrong position. He's played it into a winger who then gets tackled by Maddison, let's say. But it's all started because Solanke made that run. Yeah. If you don't have that movement, if you don't have that mobility and dynamic press, it all goes wrong. So it makes sense why Anne said, this was the player that they targeted all summer, and that was the profile. Because we did see this at Bournemouth last year.
Yeah, I was at the game on Thursday night, Dave, and I tell you, I was knackered watching Solanke's work rate. That's how hard he works.
I didn't go to the game, but watching it, I was so impressed with what he was doing.
Yeah.
Obviously down to 10, but he was playing as like a midfielder / he was holding up the ball, he was getting into the correct positions, and when they're off the ball, he was pressing almost like 2-3 players at a time. Yeah. Brilliant. And it's also because he's also, I think, got his match fitness, and I think the connection between him and the rest of the boys seems to be there. And listen, it doesn't matter whether it's a tap-in or it's a 30-yarder, a goal's a goal. And goals and at this rate, long may it continue. So Thursday night, Saturday or Sunday against Brighton, let's see if we can get some more for the big man up front.
Brilliant. Dave, if you need to go.
Yeah, lads.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you on, mate. We'll get you back, yeah?
Always love your contribution.
All good, lads.
Thank you very much.
See you, Dave.
Tom, you got the question there. If we beat we beat Newcastle United 3-0, as we really should have done, everybody's raving about Tottenham Hotspur. Whereas tonight, it's all about bloody Manchester United and how bad they were. I thought we were magnificent.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a rhetoric that's been instilled into Premier League football that United don't lose because another team was better. United lose because they were bad, and that comes from the fact that you've got Gary Neville on the panel. He's done a whole podcast after the game, and all he spoke about was how bad United were, and nothing to do with Tottenham. Playing against 10 men, okay, yeah, we were playing against 10 men, but we played against 11 for 45 minutes. It was only at the end of the first half that Bruno, and actually I thought United were better once Bruno got sent off. We absolutely dominated them for that first 40 minutes of the game. Like we could have been 2, 3, 4, even 4-0 up before half time and before that red card even happened. So it's easy to just go, oh yeah, it was a red card, and he was playing against 10 men. Well, we were playing with 10 men in midweek and we won 3-0. You can only beat what is in front of you, and it's so easy just to say, oh, the other team were bad, but actually we were good. We forced them into those mistakes. We forced Bruno to make a late lunging challenge. We forced that to happen. It didn't happen just on its own accord. There's always going to be a rhetoric that Man United were bad and that was the only reason that they lost. Yeah, Man United are a bad team. They're not a good team. Ten Hag, he's so wishy-washy with his system and tactics. You never know what you're getting from him and stuff like that. Of course they are, but end of the day, we can only beat what's been put in front of us, and we beat them, and we beat them well.
Having said that, I wish we could have been as bad as them and won 2 trophies. You know what I mean?
No,
I mean, if we win the other thing that gets me with Man United, like I'm not a fan of Man United, but it just gets me like their fans want to sack Ten Hag, right? Fine, all right, they're not happy with him, or half they do. I don't know what their fan base is really like. I don't follow them, obviously, but You know, if we'd won a League Cup or an FA Cup, we'd be building statues. Wouldn't be thinking about sacking a manager.
And we wouldn't, because we haven't built a statue for any of our previous managers around that new stadium at all. So that's you know, but 100%. Like, end of the day, you are measured on success of winning things, but only four trophies are up for grab each year. Like, you know, so and there's plenty of teams going for them, and one of them's Man City, who win bucket loads with lots of money. So. Yeah, like, end of the day, like, Ten Hag, he's a good manager in the sense that he has got them. He's a moments manager. He can win an individual game, but he won't guarantee you that longevity in the league. But yeah, the press was brilliant, and I'm pleased we're speaking about Dom Solanke, because he looks like he's getting up to fitness now, and actually the goals that he's scored so far are he's a striker after my own heart. I loved getting those rebound goals. I love when I was only Sunday League, Saturday League, so nothing special. But they were the goals that I absolutely loved getting, because you know how hard you worked to get into that position, and that you gambled on that mistake. And he is a gambler. He will gamble on those mistakes being made and getting those tap-ins. And they're the ones, they are the goals that change games and win you games. You know, it's definitely. I'm so pleased with speaking about him. And the press, it starts with him. But what's really good to see is that he's pressing, and the other players are seeing him press, and they're going with him. Not just all aimlessly chasing the ball, but they're pressing forward onto their men, and that's why we're winning so many balls high up the pitch at the moment.
Before I bring Jose in, there's a few in the chat I haven't said good evening to. So. I don't know what that Pedro Mendes is in a response to what, but good evening, Graham in GCTV, GCHQ.
Big up,
I'm not sure I've said evening to you. If I have, Dan, welcome. I know there's some talk about eating humble pie, and I know you're one of the club's biggest critics. But welcome on tonight, and I've seen some of your comments as well. It was good to see you praising the team when praise is due. Good evening to the Sheriff. I've said hi to Haz, and I really must get you on this one Sunday night. Chris Peters. Who else have we got here? Just going through this. Not sure. Destiny 5. There's so much good stuff in the chat. Jose, let's bring you in. Solanke, I'll talk about Solanke's sort of heat map and what have you later, but he's been absolutely fabulous for us, hasn't he?
Right, going back to the Man United, sorry, because I never got to answer the question that you had on your banner.
Please do.
So I'm going to add a bit of that to a bit of this and to a bit of that and make a sandwich out of it. Right, so
crisp and coleslaw.
Yeah, well, I can add whatever you want into it. So I'm going to look at the whole season, not just today.
Yeah.
The whole season, we have pressed straight from the front. Solanke did it at Leicester, and when Solanke pressed, the whole team pressed, but pressed wisely and correctly, and pick your moments and when pressing, so you don't suffer burnout. And we've been doing that from day one, regardless of who the opposition are. Second game, when we beat Everton 4-0, Solanke didn't play. So Sonny led the press. We were at the game. Sonny led the press. People followed. And it's been exactly the same blueprint every single game. Tottenham have been doing the pressing and pressing at the correct times, getting the ball back nice and quickly off the opponents, forcing the mistakes off the opponents. So it doesn't matter who you're playing against. We've done it against every team we've played against. Sometimes we haven't got the results that we wanted, and sometimes we've had. We're now on a 4-game unbeaten streak. It doesn't mean that Man United are shit. We give credit to our own team instead of looking at other teams all the time, saying, well, this, that, and the other before the game, and this, that, and the other after the game. Give praise to your own team. Your own team have gone and done the business, and that's what we did again today. Now, again, like Adrian said, well, Ten Hag's been there now for a while, and I think that they've been dog poo, if you want me to be kind to them, in the last couple of years. It's not just this season, yet they've won 2 trophies. God, we'd love to be in that position of winning 2 trophies. You know, and at the end of the day, Man United have got some good results this season. They got some good results this last season as well against certain teams, and they won a trophy. But the thing about it is that the way that we set up and the way that we pressed them and the way we played against them, it was a knife through hot butter. Now, I think it was it was Coach Dave said the thing about the centre midfielder, the Uruguayan for Man United.
Yeah.
Ugarte.
Ugarte, right.
Yeah.
When Ugarte was at Sporting Lisbon 2 years ago, I said I'd love him at Tottenham. However, since he left Sporting Lisbon and went to PSG and now at Man United, he's regressed as a footballer. He is not the six that I saw playing for Sporting Lisbon 3 years ago. He has gone downhill rapidly. Now, and I said it earlier on, Manchester United's problem is they haven't got the midfield. It doesn't matter what three permutation they're putting out, 6 players that they've got in midfield. They're just really, really bang average, ordinary. They're midfielders, or they haven't found the right cohesion between them. Now, that's got nothing to do with Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur will play against who they're put up against. So today, give the credit to Tottenham. Tottenham got to get credit in the bank today because Man United have played well against all the other teams this season. We stifled them. We didn't let them play. When they had 11 players on the pitch, we dominated. We bossed the game anyway. So forget about this 10-man business as well. Give credit to Tottenham Hotspur today. Forget about, Man United and this, that, and the other. Man United will go out and beat teams this season. It's just they didn't beat us today. So
Has says, Adrian, I'll bring you in on this. Has is saying, yeah, but we only won because we were playing crap. In fact, Has think there's a few on the chat, on the streams and what have you. Whenever we win, we're playing shit, and whenever we lose, it's because, well, we're shit. I thought we were superb today. Whatever
we were. So what? Is every team in the Premier League crap when we play them?
Yes,
if we beat them, then?
they're right. That's exactly what it is, because before you play any of these teams, they've got this threat and that threat, and oh my God, our high line's going to get exposed because they got Billy here and they got Johnny there. And every single game, I hear this from people. Every single game, every team you play against is going to have threats, right? And it's how you, as a team, manage your game to nullify your opponent and get the victory or get a result against them. We managed to do that more often than not this season. We've managed to do that. Yet we're crap. If we win and if we lose and if we draw, we're still crap, or it's Angie's fault, or it's Johnson's fault, or Werner's fault. Hold on. Right, the wind's blowing this way. Right, so next week, I think it's all going to be Kulusevski's fault. And let's pick on Kulusevski for 3 weeks as well. At the end of the day, guys, just get behind your team. We done the business today and we beat a team. End of story on that.
I will celebrate every win. I don't care if it's against Man United or it's against Brighton, Nottingham Forest, or a lesser team. I don't want to be disrespectful to them or their fans. I will celebrate any win, right? Because you have to. Because that's the whole part of being a fan. If you can't celebrate a win, well, what are you doing? Like,
what's the point?
Football? What is the point? What is the actual point? I mean, like, we know we're going to go through last season, right? At home, we lost at home to Villa. We had something like 17 chances in 20 or 25 minutes against them. Like, how they got away with a 2-1 victory is unheard of. Yet we go away, we spank them 4-0, right? I mean, like, there are games. We lose to West Ham at home. They win against us about once every 10 years at home, so I could live with that because I know this year we'll absolutely spank them, right? But, like, it's the same thing. Whenever we win, it's always because the other team are crap or they've got injuries or this, that, and that. I'm sick of hearing, listening to that negative shit. I call them nega moaners, which is negative moaners, nega-moaners. Now, they're the ones that, like, I think, like, why are you even supporting this club? We don't need you. We don't need you. You don't contribute anything positive at all. We really don't need you.
No.
You know, stop supporting Spurs or go away. You won't be missed.
We should call this channel Glass Half Full, I think.
Well, I mean, call us happy clappers, whatever they want to call us. I don't know what it is. But at the end of the day, I watch football to enjoy moments. And if you can't enjoy winning a game, don't matter who it's against, then what is the point of even supporting a team?
Absolutely.
Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, yeah, okay, you know, we battered Newcastle and we lost 2-1. That's frustrating. Like, be annoyed about that. But, you know, we battered United today and we won 3-0. Be happy about that. I can't live my life in pessimism all the time.
100%.
Like, you've got to be happy when things are going well, and rightly critique things if they're not going well. And you know, everyone's valid to their opinion on things. Of course they are. But for me personally, I cannot live my life in pessimism, constantly bemoaning. We win 3-0. Oh yeah, but it's because the other team were rubbish. Nothing to do with what we did today. Like, some people go, oh yeah, but I'm just stating facts, and it's like, are you though? Are you? The facts were we were better than United today, and we won 3-0.
With 11, with 10, with 9, with 8, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And every player today from Tottenham, every player today deserves a minimum of an 8. Simple.
You know,
It was that good a performance from the whole team, not individuals, the whole team. Every player deserves a minimum of score of an 8 today. Whether they played 45 minutes, whether they played an hour, whether they played the 90 minutes, even the subs that come on, give them an 8 as well. Everybody, it was a team effort, and it's a great win for Tottenham today.
Right.
Take it, run with it.
Right. I am all in. I am all in with those that protest about the board and Levy's lack of empathy with the fan base. Right. I'm all in with that. There's no issue with me with that. Right. But you're a Spurs fan. You support the team because that is your club. You support the players. Now, even if you don't like players in the past, right, which when they do well for you, suddenly they're heroes, and when they come to the twilight of their careers, there's a big hate factor comes into it.
This is so right.
Sissoko did very well for us during a period when we needed him, and yet when he was on the decline, I'll get rid of him, he's crap, and all hate on social media, right? We've had it with other players. England have had it with like Lampard and Shearer in the past, right? What is this shit? I wasn't brought up with this. You know, but I'm a lot older than a lot of fans out there. I go back 6 decades with this club, right? And I don't like it, right? But it is the way of the world. So all I can do, all we can do on podcasts, is like express our opinion and say, look, we don't like this. It's not wrong. Davinson Sanchez booed off a pitch. I will never boo a Spurs player off the pitch, even Werner, if I don't think they're good enough. While they're at the club, while the manager's at the club, I will support them. When they're gone, thank you for your service. Goodbye. Now, I know some of them aren't good enough, or I don't think they're good enough, but I'm not going down. I don't do hate. I just don't do hate, guys. Seriously.
No. Agreed. Let's move it on a little bit, because Tom, I know you've got an opinion of this, and your opinion was shared by the guests in the studio. The Fernandes red card was harsh.
Right. I don't think it was harsh, but I also don't. You would see that not given as a red, because it was okay. Let's see why it was a red. It was reckless. It was high. Yeah, it was. So that's why it's a red. However, he doesn't connect with his studs at all. He actually kind of catches him with his heel. It's more of a kind of Maddison kind of runs into his leg as opposed to him jabbing his leg into Maddison. Yeah. But it is, Jose, it is. If you watch it,
I have watched it, mate. Do you know what he does?
Jose, it is. He sticks his leg out and he lunges towards him. It's reckless. 100% it's reckless. However, if a yellow card was given, VAR would not have told him to give a red card.
No, they wouldn't. But what I'm trying to say is that when he was going down, Tom, right, because he was going down in that motion. When he went down in that motion, he made an extra motion by sticking his leg out.
Exactly.
And that's what got him the red card, because obviously it scraped the shin but he actually landed on his foot, the heel on his foot. But it's because he took that extra motion while going down. Had he gone down, he wouldn't have touched him. There would have been nothing at all. But he made an extra motion. That's what got him the red card.
100%. It was reckless, and he made a movement to take him out. However, his studs didn't go into his knee.
No, it was for me. They weren't dangerous for me.
It wasn't a dangerous tackle, 100%. But it was reckless. He's slipped, and then he's made an extra movement to try and take him out. He could have easily have got him with his studs, and that's why it's a red card. However, it almost certainly could have been a yellow, and if it had been given as a yellow, it would not have been given as a red card. You know, a challenge that it's a little bit similar to. I don't like bringing this one back up, but do you remember when Sonny took out against Everton? What's his name?
Gomez.
Yeah. So like, he's taken him out. It's a very similar, not quite the same, but it's a very similar sort of challenge, right? in a sense. But if it had been given as a yellow card, I wouldn't have had many complaints. I wouldn't have been screaming that's red. There's challenges in the past that I've been screaming red cards for, and most of them are blooming Andy Robertson on our players. But that one I wouldn't have been screaming a red card for. Had a Spurs player been sent off for that, I'd be fuming.
Matty Cash on Bentancur. My viewpoint on this is like he's going down, right? Yeah. We know what happens in midfield when someone like Basuma or someone pull a shirt, you get a red card, you're taking one for the team. When he's gone down, he knows the players, he knows Maddison's got him beat, right? So his intent was to take him out. He could have dropped his foot. He didn't have to do the tackle, even Tom. He didn't have to do it.
Oh no! Well, mate, I'm not complaining. He got sent off. Great for us.
I know that. But for those who want to defend him about the grey area, red or yellow, no, it was a red. It was higher. It was reckless, and it was deliberate. It was deliberate. He wanted to stop the player because the player was going past him. No one likes it when a player goes past them. I've took players down when I've gone past me. Right? 100%. No one likes that, right?
So that's classified as a professional foul, which is a yellow. So the only thing that makes it a red is the fact that it was reckless and he could have done a lot of damage to Maddison.
Tom, it was high. Well, it was high. It wasn't low.
It was high. It was high and reckless. But and that's why the ref is seen to give it as a red. But I guarantee it that if the ref had given it as a yellow, VAR would not have told him to
no, they wouldn't, because that's the way the rules are.
Can I come in, Adrian? That's a different question, and I'm happy with that. I mean, there's comments in. I'm going to make it 3-1 in favour of red, and I'll tell you why. I get the slip bit, but the slip bit on his left foot, the natural position, your natural movement with the right foot is just to help you keep your balance. He makes absolutely certain that his right leg goes into Maddison high with his studs. And that, to me, what makes it a red. But I'll go with you. I think if you'd have given a yellow, it stuck with a yellow. But I am really happy with VAR making this bar higher. I could do a show. I could do a show on VAR and why I think it's been so poorly used, because there's a misunderstanding about what VAR can do in a game which is about opinions, and decisions are about opinions, where you substitute one subjective opinion for another. And I agree. If it had been a yellow, it shouldn't have been overturned. But I think the referee got it absolutely right. I think he was out of control. I think he was high. He was reckless. He endangered the safety of an opponent, and that's enough. That's enough to make it red. Bruno's leg clearly changed direction. You see, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Tom and Jose, I'll ask you a question here, right? Now, the referee booked 3 Man United players. I thought maybe another one might go in the second half for a second yellow.
Yeah, I did as well.
But our yellow cards, I got the impression the ref wanted to even things up a bit. I didn't think Porro's yellow card was a yellow card, right? I don't think it was in a million years it was, right? No. And yet, like, he's give us a couple. I thought he was playing like level up.
I said it at halftime. My biggest worry was that the ref was going to look to try and even it up and level the playing field a little bit, which is ridiculous to say, because you shouldn't be thinking that, because refs, irrespective of if they've made a bad decision in the first half, shouldn't be looking to then even it up. They should be calling it down the line every single decision, irrespective if they've made one wrong or right or whatever. Okay, but there was a moment where Dominic Solanke could just not even go near a Man United player without him calling a foul on Solanke. He was like, and half of them weren't even like fouls in any way, shape, or form. And the Porro one definitely was not a yellow card at all. He's literally just gone side with him, put his arm across. But thankfully, it didn't come to that, because we scored so early on in the second half that it became kind of irrelevant. So we took that out of the fan. But actually, the fact that we kept our composure, like I always think back to like the Battle of the Bridge, where we were 2-0 up, and if we had just kept our heads, we would have won that game easily, but we rose to it and we started sticking silly challenges in and stuff like that. So actually a bit of maturity shown by our young players today to not get dragged into to many silly games, really. But yeah, it is what it is.
And
Like
what
Tom
helps?
said,
What
sorry,
helps?
like
hang
Tom-
on. So, Jose,
like Tom said, right? Referees shouldn't be out there, and you all know this, guys. You've all watched the game. Referees shouldn't be out there to put out equalisers and that. But today, and Adrian, you said you saw it and you asked the question. Today was just what happens in modern day football, because in modern day football now, the referees do go out and do that to equalise, to do an equalisers. Well, in our eyes, it's an equaliser. But you've got to remember as well that referees in games are monitored in every Premiership game. The referee's assessed by an assessor in the ground at every game. And, you know, at the end of the day, if they've done something wrong, or if a club alerts the referees association to say they believe something's happened, then they will look at the referee. You know, at the end of the day, were they really yellow card offences? Possibly not. But under the rules of the game, you're going to get away with it. It's going to
But
be a yellow card.
effect. They have a big effect.
Yeah,
Jose.
I'm not doubting it.
You've
Later on
got,
down the
like,
line, yeah.
3 Man United players. You got Fernandes sent off. You got 3 of them on yellow cards, and that really helps us because it can affect the way Man United play in the second half. You're on a yellow card. This tackle, you might take one for the team, whatever you can't do because you're going off the field, right? And also, you've got to be on point with your tackling if you're going to tackle. Now, we know when you see all these stats, there aren't that many tackles in the game anyway, but if they're crucial ones, you've got to be on point because if you're not, you're on a yellow card. So that helped us as well, second half, you know.
Yeah.
They had a little 15-minute spell, but that was it. Tom, what's your take on that?
Well, yeah, you saw that because and you actually saw it from a United perspective. Martinez got yellow carded quite early on in the second half, and there was a few times where he was chasing down like Kulu or somewhere like that, and I was like, if he weren't on a yellow, he would be diving into that challenge there, and he didn't because he knew he couldn't. So of course, yellow cards, and they seem to be handing out yellows a lot more easily than what they have in seasons gone past, which, you know, fine if it's consistent, and that's always going to be the problem. It's consistency. Are the referees going to be consistent with it? And it just doesn't seem like they are. But why are we talking about refs? We won 3-0.
Yeah, we'll see. Great, we won 3-0.
Jose, I know you said you need to go, which is fine. I'm probably going to do maybe another 10 minutes or so. Couple of things I want to do, and then we'll knock off. I know maybe some people will want to go and watch your show as well. Just one question though, you're man of the match because there's an awful lot of contenders today.
Brennan Johnson.
Okay, I'm gonna have people in the chat as well,
and I'm going to say it following him. It'll be Brennan Johnson, followed by Kulusevski, followed by Micky van der Ven.
Yeah.
You left out Bentancur, your favourite man.
Bentancur played well as well. There's so many players. Like I said, everyone's an 8. Some people get 9s. Right? And maybe Johnson might get the 10 from me today. I don't often give out 10s, but Johnson got an assist. Johnson got a goal. Johnson hit the post. Johnson defended. Johnson attacked. Johnson did everything you want him to do. He's done everything today that people said he couldn't do and isn't, and he's done it all today.
Yeah, but he's fucking shit. You know that.
I know that. That's what I said.
Johnson out.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Werner in, right?
He let me down. He let me down today by turning up.
Jose, for fuck's sake, people on social media have told you that Johnson is shit. So
Yes.
surely that should be good enough for you.
It is good enough for me. That's why I'm disappointed that he turned up today, because he's meant to be shit.
That's why we got shows.
I would give it to Kulusevski. Big fan. He's just the glue that holds it all together in midfield and wide right to me. And
Right, guys.
Okay.
Let me say thank you very much, everyone, for keep
Jose,
supporting
thank
Spurs
you,
Diehards. Tom,
Thanks.
pleasure seeing you again, mate.
Yeah.
God bless you all. Take care. Have a good week.
Door.
Yeah, have a good week, guys. Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.
Very quickly, because some people may have a view on this as well. Ten Hag, is he long for this world? And I don't want to be long with this because this is a Spurs channel. But can you
rumours are that Sam Allardyce is waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I mean, I got really annoyed at some of the Anges and up to it. I mean, but Ten Hag, I just don't see what he offers Man United. I just don't get it.
There's no there's no clear style of play or philosophy or all of these words that are thrown around, but you never know what you're going to get with United. They don't seem to play the same way week after week, and it's just very bizarre. Like there's no consistency with it at all. I mean, I don't think they will sack him because I think they made a rod for their own back now, where in the summer they were flirting with all these other managers trying to get him in. They couldn't, so then they stuck with Ten Hag and gave him an extra extension on their contract. If they sack him after 6 games, that's just an embarrassing start to Jim Ratcliffe's new or Ineos's new tenure of United. But who knows? I mean, if they do sack him, then I don't see who they get in that really improves them. Like, we're so used to United being that team that picks the best. So Michael Carrick, best midfielder, not anything, we'll take him. Berbatov, best striker, we'll take him. Whoever it might be, like manager-wise, or whatever, we'll take the best. We'll take the best. They're not that team anymore. They are not that team. And also, if you're a decent manager, why would you go to United? It just feels so poison chalice, doesn't it? Really, people talk about Zidane, they talk about Ancelotti. They're not going to go there. No way they're going to go there. The managers that they're going to be looking at now are going to be unheard of from the French league or Portuguese league, or are they going to be maybe a Thomas Frank or or get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back, because actually they had more kind of consistency under him than they probably had under Ten Hag, to be honest with you. But to be honest, I don't really care.
It's Man United. Who cares about them?
I mean,
like 660 million they've spent, right, under Ten Hag or something. So I read today in a report, right?
I think it's more than that.
But he has won 2 trophies. At least he's done something. And if I'm a fan and we've won 2 trophies and spent 660 million, and we're having a bit of a poor season because we haven't won nothing since 2008, I'm okay with it.
But it's relative to the team, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah.
United. I mean, we say United have been used to. I mean, it's been over 10, if not more, years now. United were a team that were used to challenging for the league every single year, challenging for the Champions League every single year, and that's not who they are anymore. So it is relative. Yes, they've still had success. They've still won those trophies, but they're just not a team. I don't see the long term with Ten Hag. Like he might pick them up another trophy this year, and if that's what United want to be, it'd be a cup team, then that's absolutely fine for them.
Things have changed so much, haven't they? Even lesser teams now. Before, when you had like a big money team like Man United, they could go and buy what they want, fever they want off every other team in the first division or the Premier League, because they had the money, they would pay the wages, the players would go. But with the inauguration of the Premier League in 1992, things changed. Even the lesser teams, mid-table teams and lesser teams have got more money. They can turn around and stick their fingers up to Man United when they come and want to buy their players. You know what I mean? They can say, no, we're keeping them. And what's happened is even mid-table and lesser teams have been able to go out and improve their squads so they're not as weak as they would have been back in the days. So they can give you a game, and on the odd occasion they can beat you as well. Right, so this doesn't make them comfortable. They're not. Then at the moment, they're not. Don't get me wrong. They've got them and Liverpool got the most fantastic pedigree regarding European football, winning European Cups. But they don't inspire the fear. They don't inspire fear no more. Not to me, they don't.
No.
Quick question before I move it on, Adrian. I'll ask you this, Tom. Of any player in Manchester United squad that you'd want an hours? You have it to think.
I mean, probably a couple, to be honest with you. Like, I think a Rashford in form.
Yeah.
He's a class player, and he could actually be that left winger that we probably could do.
Maynard.
Mainu would be another one, 100%. I would like to see him in, but I mean, it's difficult with Rashford because he's not great at the moment. He hasn't been great for a long time, but a Rashford in form is a very, very good player, and you just wonder if a person like Postecoglou and in a system that Spurs are playing could get the best out of him. I don't think
that's a fabulous call, Tom.
I don't think he would ever come to us. I think he's so embedded to United that I don't think it matters how bad
You're paying £300,000 a week in wages on.
Well, I was just going to say
that's
wages
another,
are out.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't think you'll ever see United come to Spurs, and to be honest, I don't think you'll ever really see a Spurs player go to United anymore. So.
No.
Yeah, interesting.
I would take Mainu to be the only one.
Adrian, I'll bring you in a sec. The reason I asked that question is there's been times where any Man United players, I take all of them, or I take 5, I take 6. You actually had to think about that question, and that was my point.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
We don't know about Xerxes, do we? We're not really decided on Højlund either as well. I mean, they might turn out to be like really good players. When back in the day, this is why you have the saying one season wonder. In the second season, can they reduce that form?
I mean,
the fans haven't got a 2-game concentration span.
I'd probably prefer both Xerxes or Højlund to Richarlison. But not as a starter.
No,
but I'd rather see Lancashire given a couple of minutes.
Okay. I know. Let's a couple of things. I want to talk about the subs, but I thought it was a masterstroke from Ange to put Dragusin in quite early, to give him some minutes after what happened on Thursday night, from a psychological point of view, to say, "Hey, these things happen. I still love you. Bring him on. Give him some confidence. We're 3 up." I thought that was absolutely brilliant man management.
It was a late substitution, wasn't he? But he did come in and nut. Did nut in the back of the head when the referee stopped play.
Mount.
Oh, yeah. Well played then. Well played. And actually, it helped run the clock down, so that was all good. But yeah, look, he looks a good player, but I've noticed at Newcastle, right away, when we had our 3 defenders in the line, which was actually Romero on the left side of the centre back, and you should have been closer to Murphy, and Porro was onside as well, and Dragusin, because he's not used to playing with Romero or VDV, he was more facing our goal, didn't know whether to stick or twist. I'm sort of like looking at his positional plan. I'm thinking like, I see it Romania in the Euros as well. There was one time he got out on the byline, the ball was passed behind him in front of the goal, and they scored. Not knocking him for that. He's 22, right? But I'm just thinking like the fact that he got sent off. I mean, like, oh my god. I mean, like, you want him to play with VDV because with the yellow card situation coming up and all that, which we'll bring up in another podcast, you want to get some sort of understanding going. And like, if you don't know whether to stick or twist, you're not used to playing with that player alongside you. And I think I'm not knocking him for that because I'm still on the wait and see. He's got pace. He's not slow. People say he can't play a high line. Rubbish. He's quick. He's not slow. He's not slow at all, right?
I was thinking more of the man management side of it, Tom. I just thought that was really clever.
Yeah, 100%. Like that needs to happen, and not just from a man management for Radu's sake, Dragusin's sake, but also actually just a bit of valuable rest for Van der Ven as well. You know, we're going to be playing a lot of games this season, and actually, if you can take a starting player off for 10-15 minutes, that is going to go a long way into like progressing the longevity of those players throughout the season, especially with the high pressing game that we play. Yeah. I think Dragusin is a good defender. Do you know what? Actually, if we'd had Dragusin when we had a Conte or Jose, I think he would have been perfect defender for them because he's very combative. He's good at winning things in the air and stuff like that. End of the day, he needs minutes. But I think the most important thing for Dragusin is he needs to get his agent just to shut up. He's 22 years old, right? Van de Ven and Romero are a solid partnership that works really, really well. Let the guy work his way into the team, and if he's that good, he will get his opportunities. And
he will.
So,
yeah, I have to put this on because I saw that on the El Cockerel. It's Cockerel Doodle. What is it called? El Cockerel.
El Tel Cockerel.
I don't know where I got that. Scott M. I mean, I don't know why anyone ever listens to him. To be honest with you, I think he's the biggest arsehole in football, on football commentary. But I agree with this. That's actually he's pretty well taken away my Graham. We're on the same page on a lot of things, but you've pretty well taken away my thunder there because I wanted to talk specifically about Dragusin, but. Spence, I thought, was excellent. Moore looked good when he came on. Sarr was Sarr. Bergvall, I was actually a bit disappointed with his decision making. His passing was a bit off. But they came in and they seemed. You never noticed any difference. It was absolutely fabulous. Adrian.
Yeah. I mean, Bergvall come on. He actually made a couple of sloppy passes, didn't he? Sarr, I've got every confidence in Sarr. I mean, like, I've got no worries. Now, like, we've got 7 midfielders if you include Decky in there, and Ange has to find different blends of 3. Like today, if he played Basuma instead of Bentancur at the back, would we have screamed? No, we wouldn't. Right? So, and then you've got to take into fact, well, if Sarr had played there behind Decky and Maddison, I wouldn't have screamed. If it works, you wouldn't have screamed. So he's got to find these blends in midfield, which is going to have to be used as we pick up yellow cards and suspensions, right? Which we'll cover in another post, actually, because we're getting narrowing down to where people are going to get 5, right? I mean, like, well, back to you on that, Ian.
Yeah. What impact subs, wasn't it? Made those subs. Bergvall took the corner. Pap headed it on.
And Solanke scores. I did. And he did well to come through and just stick his foot out and stab it in the net. Like,
much as I was delighted with that goal, if we'd have conceded that, we'd have been doing our effing nuts in. No one challenged on the cross. No one moved and allowed Solanke to just nip in. I'd have been livid if we'd have conceded that goal. I put that should have been 6 because Spurs Express has just tweeted Tottenham registered 4.67 expected goals against Man United today. It's the most they've ever had in a single Premier League game on record. Probably should have been 6, but there you go. Right, we're gonna.
I think Ian on that.
Sorry, my friend.
Yeah. Sorry, I think that actually is. That's becoming quite a classic for us now. We're feeling like every game we're like, oh, we should have had more. We should have had more. I think we got so spoilt for years with Son and Kane just like scoring goals out of nothing. But now we're like, okay, we're actually probably performing to what we're expecting. But we're creating chances and we're scoring what we should be scoring. Whereas before we used to just score goals out of nowhere a little bit. But yeah, I mean, right. If we create, 4.6 expected goals every single game and win 3-0, great.
Yeah, but Tom, we haven't reproduced the desk, have we? The D for Delhi, the E for Ericsson, the S for Son, the K for Kane. And we need, and I've been on loads of podcasts. It's not why I don't think Werner's a bad player, right? But it's taken since 1992. It took an average of 82 goals to win the Premier League. Then it went up to 86 with Man United winning 7 out of the last 10. And then Arsenal last year scored 90 goals, right? And come second. And I turn around to people and say, like, fine, I love my club, but where are we getting 90 goals from? This is why when we're bringing wingers in, when we got Werner, I don't hate Werner. right? But like, where are your goals? We got goals from Delhi, Ericsson, Son, and Kane. Son and Kane would get 40+ goals in the season in cups and league games, right? You know, the others would chip in with loads of goals. This is what we should be aiming for, to win the Premier League. More than the Champions League, the Premier League. Win it. This is what we want, right?
Yeah.
And more than anything. And like, the goals aren't there. And when we get in goals, when I'm following Yang Min Hyuk in Korea, that winger, I know he's in January, he's banging goals in, you know? I mean, like, Werner don't score goals. Micky Moore bangs goals in. His stats are mental. All right, he's got another level. I want goal scoring forwards. If I don't care how many assists you get, if you're on the front three, I want goals. You know?
Yeah. 20 each. Right, guys. I know. Sorry, Nice just joined the chat, but we're pretty well. We've done 2 hours. That's I've turned into a pumpkin after 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm going to ask though for people's man of the match. For if you're still in the chat and you haven't given us an answer, just because the reason I'm asking is there were so many great performances today. It's really, really difficult. Adrian, let's ask you first. See if anyone comes in the comments on the chat.
Well, I'm a Kulu fan. I'll give it a Kulusevski.
Yeah. Tom, did you give an answer earlier?
I didn't. I mean, I would have to agree with Kulusevski. I also want to mention Bentancur because I thought he was brilliant again today. But I also I thought Solanke was immense. Like just his work rate. And again, I probably look at it more because of like striker, and that's where I used to play. And I used to be that guy that was just running around pressing everyone and stuff like that. I used my hard work to and so I can really appreciate the amount of running he's doing and how much of it kind of doesn't feel like a big payoff in that moment, but it makes a massive difference. But I thought he was brilliant today.
Yeah, I thought there were so many great performances, and one of the things I was going to say is I thought Spence was absolutely fabulous at left back when he came on.
Sky, they gave it a VDV, which is a good call.
On Spence. I thought Spence was great.
I'm going for Decky as well, but I agree. I mean, Van der Ven, just for that run. I mean, when he puts those afterburners on, absolutely fabulous. Benty, I thought Maddison was excellent. In fact, Werner was fabulous.
Isn't it great that we've got multiple choices, though? It doesn't just say something about our progression and our growth, you know?
Yeah, and I think it goes to show that under Ange, it's so much more about the team and the system we're playing rather than the individual. Okay, obviously the individual help. Better individuals will make.
And also about like we've had 3 on the back line, we've had 4 on the back line. You rarely see 2 on the back line defending the high press.
Yeah.
And even when Man United got forward, we could cope. We were about to go back. Teams are going to give you problems. That's what football's all about. You've got to have these exciting, nervous moments when you think, oh, crap, or they've got a corner or something or a free kick. But that's what the jeopardy in football comes with. That's the thrill of the chase as well, you know? I mean, like, and I just think we can cope with this. I think our back four is fucking excellent, actually. 5, I think it's excellent.
And you know, people saying Ange, you know, he's got to change. Well, actually, if you look this season, the fullbacks aren't inverting as much as what they were last season, or they're picking them.
When is your doggy ever inverted? He just plays that left wing. He could go on and be the best left back in the world. I think he goes up and down, up and down. He's like a team, but he doesn't cut in another shot. Porro does. He doesn't invert. I don't see your doggy inverted. Maybe I'm blind. I don't know.
He'll pop up in the middle to give that option, but they're not as reckless with it as they were last season. Towards the end of the season, they're much more intelligent with it. And actually, after we went 2-0 up, they definitely held their positions a lot better. And you can tell that's something that Postecoglou has worked on with them. 100%.
Tom, fuck off! I wanted to say that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'll leave now.
Because it's something I noticed as well.
Complaint to Kev. Go on, complaint to Kev.
There was times where we actually looked like we had a a more orthodox, I won't call it a more orthodox defensive shape at 2-0. What, that sort of Arsenal philosophy of Herbert Chapman, what we've got, we hold. I thought it was absolutely a bit more people say Ange doesn't change. Yeah, he does. People just sometimes don't want to see.
Oh, he has.
The thing is, Ian, as well, although, yes, it was a bit more pragmatic, or, we didn't push on, we was like, no, we're going to get the third goal. We're going to get the fourth goal. We're going to get the fifth. Like that, it wasn't a case of, right, we're 2-0 up. Let's sit back and defend. It wasn't like a Conte or a Mourinho style, right? We're up now. Let's sit back and defend what we've got. It's refreshing to have a manager, because even Poch, like, to an extent, was very much, we're 2-0 up. That's it. Let's hold it now. Whereas every time we got the ball, we was like, right, let's get that next goal, because we know if we could concede a goal from anywhere, from a set piece or anything like that. But if we're 3-4-0 up, then it doesn't matter as much. So.
We've conceded one set piece goal this season, I think, so far.
We're actually one of the best set piece defenders this season, if you look at the stats.
But so we don't improve, we don't train, we don't do this on the training ground, we don't do that. It's all rubbish. Anyway, I think we're done. Certainly I can always see the numbers, and a few people are switching off, so they probably know we're done as well.
Yeah.
So Adrian, I hope you're coming back. Because I need to, apart from anything else, I need to find, is there another comment there? Yeah, Graham, thanks very much. Thanks for being on, and your comments always appreciated. I have to get you on as a guest. I don't know. Maybe you do streams or whatever, but be good to get you on. You've always got interesting things to say in the chat, so I'm sure you can find interesting things to say on air as well. But I need to find the playing out thing, and I can't find them. Oh, it's on the brand. That's it. So I'm just going to say thanks very much, everybody in the chat. Thanks to Tom for being on. Thanks to my our leader, Adrian, for being here. And there's another show. There'll be a show. I'll be on in the air, I think, flying to Spain. But there'll be a show at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, which I'm sure Adrian will be hosting. So, as we say, come on, you Spurs.